As on the track now, the next race, it is the high school boys mile. And I know as an individual who's covered the indoor sport in Pennsylvania, this is a big race.
I don't know about you, but this looks like to be the prime time event of the meet. High School Boys Mile presented by Toyota is going to feature a guy by the name of Gary Martin of Archbishop Wood. We all know the storyline heading into this race. Sub 4, is it capable? Can he become the latest to score a sub 4 mile here at the Penn Relays? Such an illustrious event. But he won't be alone, Phil. He's going to have CJ Singleton, a Butler, who he knows very well. They've raced together plenty of times before. Colin Bowler of Del Barton School. Devin Kipiego just ran the DMR, so he's out. Nick Plant of Camfield. Aiden Neal of Manchester Valley. Javon Blake of Jamaica College. Getch Hayes of LaSalle Institute. Kyle Rakitis of Kingsway Regional. Weber Long of Greencastle Antrim. Jacob Connolly of East Greenwich. Timothy Cherry. Michael Woolry. Quinn Worrell, and Joseph Rotterball.
So the Penn Relays record definitely in jeopardy at 4:04:47. Sean McGorty back in 2013. And again, Martin likes to run from the front, so he doesn't need anybody else to help him with the pacing. You see it going 60, 60, 60, and then let her go?
It really depends. I mean, right now on the track, good conditions overall for the mile. But I think it does have to be even for Gary Martin. But we did see CJ Singleton's parents early before this, and they told me he is ready to run. He's probably the guy closest to Gary in this mile, but he's really got to make his way up in the first 100 meters if he wants to be in this race.
And CJ got caught up in some traffic, but now he's put himself right behind Gary Martin. And then that indoor championship at Penn State to settle the Pennsylvania Track and Field Coaches Association indoor mile. It was Martin who went out, but then Singleton was right behind him, actually took the lead in the third 400, shocked a lot of people in attendance. But CJ Singleton right there in the number 2 spot behind Gary Martin.
I think two guys with the most to gain from this race, Nick Plant of Camfield and Aiden Neal of Manchester Valley. Aiden Neal ran 4:10 indoors. He's a North Carolina signee. I don't think a lot of people know about him, but he is versatile and he has a lot of talent. Nick Plant, meanwhile, mostly an 800-meter runner, but he's got some mile chops.
And actually, that was going to be my wild card. Nick Plant, he's gone under 150 twice last year. 149 hasn't had the best weather to run in Ohio so far this year. But again,
60.63 seconds first lap for Gary Martin, right on pace. CJ Singleton, though, right behind him, 60.88 seconds.
And Plant in the number 3 position. I think he's going out a little faster than he normally is used to because he has the kick to close in the final 200. Does Nick Plant.
I think this is the moment that a lot of these guys have been waiting for, really, to bust open and really show what they're capable of. You know, Gary Martin has run plenty already, so he's hitting, I think, a place in his season where he's ready to go for this sub 4. As we mentioned previously, he's gone 4 minutes, .95 at the Explorer Invitational in April. So really, what he's looking to is build off of that.
And the top 5 after the first 400 separated by just 1 second. And right at 2 flat through 880 yards as Gary Martin still leading CJ Singleton.
The biggest, I think, predictor of a success here is if CJ Singleton can keep this honest with Gary. If Gary has someone to run with in the final, lap here, I think it'll really engage him and challenge him toward that mark. But he's honestly being it's a clean race so far, and he's hitting his splits pretty well.
And speaking of splits, there it is. Gary Martin at 809 meters, that full lap plus 9, 2 flat 85. And Singleton now has lost contact. He's 10 meters down as Gary Martin is running for history. Not only that 4:04:47 by Sean McGorty, but a sub 4-minute mile at Franklin Field in the Penn Relays.
Singleton, Neal, Rakikis, and Getch Hayes now behind him, followed by Neal. We'll see what Gary Martin can do in this last lap. Let's see if this crowd can get behind him. 3 minutes, Phil, with the lap to go.
Gary Martin and the other competitors are lining the track, cheering him on, knowing what the significance of this race. Gary Martin has pulled away from the field.
And you'll know it when you see it, but Gary's going to hit another gear at some point in this race. And you really have to bunker down when you want to go for this sub 4. It really has to come from the heart.
He was only a half a second off of a sub-4 pace through 3 full laps. Gary Martin needs to run 59.49 over the final 1 lap to go sub-4 at the Penn Relays. Martin in the final turn. He leads by about 60 meters. Gary Martin from Archbishop Wood, the senior, he's chased sub-4 early this season outdoor. Can he do it? The crowd on their feet. Gary Martin, the senior from Pennsylvania. He's been a standout in cross country and track. He's going to be close, but he'll just miss. 4:01 as Nick Plant and CJ Singleton to the line is close. Singleton gets second. Martin's official time, 4:01.04.
New record overall for Gary Martin, beating Sean McGordy's former best of 4:04.47. Overall, you know, I think you had a lot of conditions working against you with the wind. A little chilly, but Gary Martin ran a very good race.
And it seemed like he was content with the effort as he makes his way to Olivia Ekpone for our post-race interview with the champion, the high school boys mile, sponsored by Toyota. Olivia with Gary Martin from Archbishop Wood.
I am so excited to be down here with Gary Martin, who just ran a 4:01. I know you were going for that sub-4 minute mark, but just talk to me about that last lap and what was going through your mind there.
There's a lot of pain. I mean, I was trying to hold on, stay strong, and close hard. Didn't close as hard as I wanted to. A little disappointed, but it's part of the learning experience. We'll get better from it, and hopefully next time I'm out there, I'll break 4.
So what's next for you on the agenda? What do you think you have to do next so we can meet that barrier?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's still early in the season. I got 3,200 lined up. We'll go from there. I'm not too sure yet, but that's what's up next, and we'll see what happens from there.
Well, you're a Penn Relays champion. Congratulations, Gary. Gentlemen, back to you.
Thanks, Olivia. Not only a Penn Relays champion, but now a Penn Relays record holder. There it is, 4:01.04 for Gary Martin. Breaks the old record held 9 years by Sean McGordy.